I'm really excited to basically talk to you guys about this because really when I first started selling Cutco, I remember seeing all these people like crushing it. I was like, wow, John is crushing it, and he has this sick navigator, and he's got this dope Rolex, and he wears his Louis Vuitton belt, and that to me was like the epitome of success, right? And I was like, he has a beautiful family, and I was like, I don't know what it is, but I want that, right? And that was the goal. I was like, that's what kept me here. The people here, they're amazing. And the main goal was like, okay, well, how can I learn to sell at a high level like all these people that are selling here that are making thousands, 20,000, 30,000, some people making 50,000. And I'm just like, that's insane, right? I'm like, how are they doing that? And I was just always so curious, always so curious, so curious. And the biggest problem that I ran into whenever I was learning and I was new was just seeing and trying to learn the magnitude of what they were covering, right? Because it can become a little bit overwhelming. They're like, well, how are they saying? What are they doing? What if I'm doing doesn't work? I've tried calling all my names list, but and then your mind just goes into this essentially overwhelm mode, right? And I'm not sure if any of you guys have experienced that, where you're like, I want that, I just don't know how to get it, right? And so one of the things that I want to talk to you guys about is that making sure that you essentially have a vision of where you want to go. Don't focus so much on the how, right? Focus on where you want to go. And I remember talking to this with somebody in an office 2 years ago, and I said, dude, I don't want you to think about what you're going to sell or who you're going to see. I just want you to essentially close your eyes and feel you selling the biggest order you've ever sold. And I want you to really write that down and internalize it. I just want you to feel it. I don't want you to think about, oh, what am I going to say? How am I going to say it? Screw that, right? Because our minds, whenever we feel like we're not enough, right, we start to come up with little reasons as to how are we going to do it. Well, what am I going to say? How am I going to say it? Who am I going to see? Are they going to have enough money? Screw all that. Don't listen to that. That's just your reptilian brain trying to tell you you're not worth it, but you are, right? So just focus on the feeling of what would it feel like to sell your first ultimate set? What would it feel like to sell a Cutco kitchen? Don't focus on the how. You might try and notice your mind going to, well, how would I do that? Don't focus on that. Write it down and be like, what would it feel like, right? Now, one of the things that I knew was when I first started is that I felt stuck at times. I felt really unconfident, and I didn't really know what to change because, well, I didn't know what I didn't know, right? I was unaware. And one of the only things that I knew was that I could be better. I just didn't know how. And I'm not sure if any of you guys in the room are in that same spot. I'm just relating to you guys essentially. In the talk, I'm going to essentially frame it to you how I would talk to myself when I was new to help me sell more. And I just hope that that essentially helps you guys as well. So number one, definitely write this down. Confidence is key. Confidence is, as DJ Khaled would say, major key. And the reason why is that being confident in life really is major key. How you show up to an interview. Think about it. When you show up to an interview, who generally gets the job? The timid person or the confident person? Think about that. One of the things that I want to cover as well is when I was new, for some reason, people would tell me that I was really arrogant. They're like, you're so cocky, you're so cocky, you're so cocky. And I want to cover the difference between confidence and arrogance here. Confidence comes from being able to back it up. It's just who you are. You're not trying to be confident. You're just confident. And it's generally a derivative of just being what it is. It's just correspondent to what you are and who you are. Arrogant people tend to be braggadocious. They just talk about oneself. They're like, look what I have, look what I've done, look at my car, look at my house. It's like, dude, okay. And a lot of times you're like, all right, that's cool. And one of the examples that I want to give you, it's pretty funny, but think about it. The super shears, they're not arrogant because they cut the penny. They just are what they are. How could you be like that when you show up to your client's house? Be like the super shears cutting the penny. You're not arrogant. Think about a Bentley. A Bentley pulls up. It's not arrogant. It's just sexy. Drives amazing. And you're like, damn, that's a nice car. And the Bentley's just like, yeah, because it is what it is. How could you be a Bentley if you want to be a Bentley or a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, whatever your exotic car is? Show up as if that is who you were. and who you are. Now, 3 pillars of being confident, right? And one of the reasons why I want to cover this so deeply is because really, truly selling like a high-level CSP first starts with our psychology, and then it's how's second. First, it's our internal psychology, and then learning the little stuff afterwards that comes second. So number one, 3 pillars of being confident. Number one is being confident in oneself. You might be like, Roger, it sounds like you're repeating yourself. If I'm repeating myself, it's for a reason. Because I really, really, really want to drive this home with you. Because if somebody had given this talk to me when I was new, I would have been like, wow, I would have exploded a lot quicker, right? So be confident in your worth, because you really, truly are worth it. Like that commercial says, because you're worth it. Be confident in who you are. Think about it. There's only one of you in the world. And if you are not going to be you, then who the hell will? Be you. Own it. Be who you are. And number 3 is, how are you going to add value to people's lives? And I really encourage you to make that really big. How will I add value to people's lives? Because at the end of the day, when we look back in our lives, we really want to look back and be like, how much value did I add? If we have children, it's like, how did I influence their lives so that they may have children and they may be successful? And it's really not about monetary, but it's about how did I teach them? How much love did I give? As human beings, we want to contribute. We want to add value. Number 2 to the pillars of confidence when it comes to selling like a high-level CSP. And they were like, Roger, can you keep it, somewhat? I know you guys are new, and I'm keeping it advanced but new because I believe you guys can catch this. Number 2 is be confident in the product. And it's really funny because we're following the same metric here. Be confident in the worth of the product. The Homemaker is worth $13.26 on sale. Cutco is really worth a lot more if you really think about it. We just bought a home, and guys, owning a home is expensive. Very expensive. I'm like, wow, there goes $5,000, there goes $10,000, there goes $600 to paint 2 rooms. I'm like, interesting. So when a customer can sometimes complain and be like, wow, that's a lot of money. Yes, it's a lot of money up front. However, when you think about it over the next 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years of your lifetime, your children's lifetime, and the thing is, the just peace of mind of never having to buy another set of knives ever again. Like if I could buy something for my house that I would never have to buy ever again, I would be so stoked. And guess what? Cutco is that for the customers, right? And it's okay if you're not there in your life yet where you're experiencing those things, because when I was new, I was like, well, I don't know how much house stuff costs. Do know that it exists. It's real. Customers are spending thousands on stuff for their home. We just got to help them. Number 2, be confident in what Cutco is. Cutco is an amazing company that loves its customers. I have never seen or experienced a company that really truly loves their customers and wants the best for them. And, think about it. If you have one of these, I will say, okay, Apple likes us, but why do they always change our chargers? You know what I'm saying? They're like, well, we like you, but how can we make more money off of you, right? And it's like, well, I know you like the AirPods, but we're going to make it so that they slip and fall, and then you have to rebuy them over and over again, right? Whereas Cutco, it's like, hey, your knife broke, no worries, send it in to us and we'll fix it and replace it for free. That's amazing. That's pretty incredible. And number 3 is be confident in how it adds value to people. And I'll give you some examples. How does Cutco add value to people? Makes their lives easier in the kitchen. They buy it once, never have to buy it ever again. Some people like to think of logical metrics. Well, they invest in it once and it goes up in value every other year by about 5%, which is a pretty sick returns on your money if you're wanting to think of it that way. And it's really, what you're buying is peace of mind, a generational item. Some people will have art and be like, wow, yeah, I've had this you know, this was a piece of art my grandmother bought and it's been passed down to my mom and it's been passed down to me. I actually had a customer that told me, she's like, I actually had this trimmer from when my mom and I was a little girl, and my mom and I would be in the kitchen, and this was the knife that I would prepare meals with my mom. And my mom passed away last year, and this is the knife that I like use to prepare meals. And it just, every single time I cook with it, it brings me back to being a little girl and being there with my mom. I was like, wow, shook. Amazing. What other company out there does that to their customer, right? And when she told me that, I almost got teary-eyed. I was like, oh, that's so sweet, Dina. But how cool. And because customers are getting new experience. So what you're really doing is you're essentially a catalyst to helping customers experience new experiences in the kitchen, something they buy once and never have to buy ever again. And I will tell you, having done this for almost 10 years now, customers, when they tell us they have Cutco, they don't tell us they like it. They tell us they love their Cutco. So why write the love Cutco down? Because that is something that you can share with customers whenever you see them. Hey, there's a guy, he has almost 3,000 customers, and they don't tell him they just like Cutco. They tell him they love Cutco. That's why when customers come up and they're like, what can you tell us about Cutco? We're confident in ourselves and we're confident in the product. Number 3, be confident in your team. Who is your team? Your management. Because the worth of your management, they're here to serve you. They're here to take care of you. And they're here to add value to your life. I don't get anything from being up here, guys, really. I just do this because I wish somebody would have talked to me when I was new and given me these tips, because it would have shortened the curve. And there's nothing wrong with it taking 9, 8, 7 years, but it's like, well, you know, rather than majoring in the minor things in life, how can I major in the major things that would move the needle a lot quicker? And so that's essentially what I'm covering with you here. And now the little meat and potatoes when it comes to selling sets. So write this: selling sets. Now that we covered the first most important part that a lot of people don't ever cover. They're just like, well, just say this, cut it this way, do that. It's like, you know, if I tell you to do something, for instance, it's like if I tell you to go run a mile, but you're like, but I don't care to run a mile, then why would I even teach you, you know, how your foot strike should be, how fast you should be moving, what your heart rate should be? You're like, I don't care about all that. I don't even want to run the mile. But if you're like, dude, I want to learn how to run a mile. This is something I've always wanted to do. I really, really want to learn it. How much more eager are you to learn? Where if I was like, yo, bro, I'm going to teach you how to bench press 315 pounds, you'd be like, okay, I don't care. You know what I mean? So that is essentially why we cover the psychology first. But when it comes to selling sets, number 1, what do you think it is? Be confident. Be confident in the product. The product delivers. It always works. The guarantee is always there. Number 2 is to really, 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 really know the product. Rather than majoring in the minor things, how do you major in the major things? Know the product. If a customer asks, well, why do I need a whole set? For me, one thing that I can say is like the reason why our customers tell us they love having the whole set is similar to having a toolbox in your garage. It's great if you have 1 or 2 tools, but how many times have you needed that one specific tool and you didn't have access to it? And there you are frustrated because you can't continue and finish the project. Oh my gosh, yeah, I've been there before. Do you really want to do that to yourself when buying just one knife? Well, no. Okay, well then let's explore and see what the options are for you here. Number 3, know that the product adds value to people. And this is tremendous. This is the difference between a beginner rep and an elite rep. It's that knowing you're not selling them Cutco, you are helping them get Cutco. You're not doing this to hit a fast start. You're not doing this to go on a trip. You're doing this to help people get Cutco. And it's a mentality shift, because the reality is, right, you're not selling them just something random. You're selling them something that's going to be with them for the rest of their lives. And as John said, I've met some of John's clients that were like, yeah, do you know John Carpenter? And I'm like, yeah, he like married me. And they're like, wow, yeah, he's actually the one that sold us Cutco. And I was like, wow, and you guys still have it, they're like, yeah, we absolutely love it. We bought it like 20 years ago. And then I'll have random customers be like, yeah, this one kid came to our house, sold us Cutco. He's like a doctor now. We still have the knives and we love them. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty amazing. That was, yeah, no, you're not the doctor. Number 4, this is imperative. But as you've seen me say little, words here and there, like major key, have fun. Have fun with your clients. Smile, have fun. The moment you stop having fun, you need to stop yourself and reassess what's going on internally and ask yourself, whoa, wait a second, why am I not having fun here? Have fun. Buying is a fun experience. Being sold to is not a fun experience. Buying is a fun experience. Being sold to isn't. And just giving you a personal example, I have somebody that's like keeps trying to set up an appointment with me to sell me solar. And I'm like, dude, you just sound desperate. And I don't want to buy from a desperate person. I want to buy from somebody that feels confident, that wants to have fun. And it's just, confident, because they're like, yeah, it is what it is. Do you want it? I'd be like, sure. But if you're like, oh, buy it for me, buy it for me, buy it for me, I'd be like, I'm okay. And I want to give you guys this last one, 5. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. Don't really focus so much on the destination. It's easy to. It's really, really important that you enjoy the ride, day in, day out. And I'm going to give you guys a little hack here on essentially how to mentally break down your days, because sometimes we have 5 demos, 4 demos, 6 demos, and sometimes the first 2 can go terribly. Sometimes the first 2 can go great. Sometimes the last 2 are terrible. Sometimes the last, in some sort, I've had it where I've worked 12-hour days and the first 9 hours just suck. And you're just like, oh my gosh, how do you mentally stay in it? Because it's a mental marathon. So what I want you to do is, whenever you are in a day where you're doing demos, remember all of the things that we just covered, all the pillars: being confident in oneself, be confident in the product. And then if you need help, be confident in your manager to reach out to them. And what I want you to do is to essentially break down the day into quarters. What do I mean? The very beginning of the morning, the afternoon, the mid-afternoon, and the evening. And if your morning sucks, don't ruin the rest 3 quarters of the day. Just say, okay, my morning wasn't that great, but how can I make the next 3 quarters of my day great? My first 2 appointments, they didn't go all that great, no worries, but how can I make the last 3 great? And it's the whole analogy of like, just because one of your tires is not working in your car doesn't mean you slash the rest of the 3. Don't slash your other 3 tires. Just be like, okay, well, this tire is not working. Let me fix it. And the other 3 still work. Why is this important? Because at times we might show up and we might be like, well, this one appointment didn't go all that great. And then it's easy to just stay in your head for the rest of the day. And I can't tell you, I've seen it so many times where people will be like, yeah, dude, I had 6 appointments set. I was so excited. I thought I was going to sell like 5-10 grand. And I literally had 5 no sales in a row. How do you stay excited whenever that happens? Go back to the 3 pillars. Be confident in yourself. Be confident in the product. Be confident in your management. Because it is okay. Those emotions you're feeling are totally normal. They're human. Now, whenever you go into that last appointment, just know that every single new appointment is a brand new interaction. They have not met you yet. They have not experienced Cutco yet. And it's up to you to show up as your best self. Don't show up to the size of your audience. Show up to the size of your heart with every single person that you interact with. Because you never know, that last person might be the person that's like, yeah, I'll buy 5-10 grand. And it's happened before. You always gotta keep on believing. And I just want to end it with that. So I'm done. Yeah. Does that help, guys? All right, thank you. Okay.
Okay, so you say be confident in life. Now, if you're not feeling confident, what would you do then?
That's a great question. So one of the things that Tony Robbins says this: motion creates emotion, right? If you're not confident, move, do jumping jacks, or just hype yourself up, or do a TikTok dance, or I don't know, do something to get you hyped. Or, if one of your moves is, sheesh, do that, whatever it is. Yeah, see, look at that. The whole energy in the room just shifted, right? And if you're not confident, you're like, damn, dude, I'm not confident. Look at yourself and be like, sheesh. All right, I got this. Get after it. Does that help? Okay, I guess everybody's going to be doing sheesh now. That's the move. One more question, if anybody has a question.
All right.
All right, guys.